All right. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Jean-Marc, who won't be staying, I guess, but you're here still. Anyway, um, folks, I this is an experiment. I'm done with StreamYard. Like the quality is super bad, basically. So I'm trying out just direct OBS streaming today. I don't know how that will work out. We'll see. Um, it might go horribly wrong. So yeah, I'm stressing out a bit to check whether it's all working. Like, can you just give a thumbs up in chat, or let me know if everything's fine. I feel like such a noob streamer now, but anyway, yeah, I'm kind of a noob with OBS, so I hope it works out. So while I'm waiting for those messages, let me quickly check here whether I sent my my messages on the socials that I'm streaming. So yeah, the plan today is to work on some issues basically with Tempest. Let me do it like this. There we are. So yeah, a couple of small things I want to work on, and yeah, I want to move towards that first alpha version, right? That's the plan basically. So last stream we did some work on those query builder statements, and let me actually show you the things I've changed after that stream. So create a migrations table here. A couple of things changed. I added like these helper methods in the create table statement to like have a more fluent API to create tables. Let me actually check the create author table over. No, that's these aren't create book table maybe. No, that isn't updated either. Anyway, it's like a fluent API, right? And I then also worked on here's a proper example. I also worked on the docs here for a while, which is pretty important to get all fixed before like publicly announcing Tempest. So yeah, I'm happy with the progress I made. Still a lot of work to do, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm really motivated to work on it. Some pretty cool PRs as well, by the way. Some people pitching in here. Someone, Visurgio, who also helped on RFC vote when I streamed that. I'm still pronouncing his name very wrong, but that's that's fine. He came in yesterday and just fixed all the Windows issues. Which I was postponing for months now, so I'm really happy with that. Aiden and Tragit, they are working on some CI stuff as well, which is nice. Some multi-database testing on CI, which is also important because Tempest is in theory is supporting MySQL, SQLite, and Postgres. It's all work in progress, right? So yeah, one of the things that changed now that I'm not using StreamYard is that I cannot really highlight comments anymore, like on screen. But you're watching on YouTube, so you can see the comments. So I can just mention, hey, go check chat. Robert is there. What about alter statements on the migration up? That is a very good point, and actually something that I want to tackle today, or something that Tragets is already working on. So I'm not really sure whether I wanna take it over from him. But if you check the docs here, I already changed the return type here from create table statements to statement, like the interface, because indeed we need alter table statements here as well. And the same for the down method. You don't necessarily need a drop table statement, but if you check the let's see here, the current implementation, it's still this. Actually, let's just change that, because Oh, that's the wrong statement. Import. No, it's query statement. I wrote a mistake in the query statement in the docs. Actually, I'll have to fix that right away. So this should all just keep working as is, because like return types are covariant, right? Yeah. So that's all fine. Okay, looks good. Don't need to do it. Let's commit this, and then actually let's go to the docs here as well, because I need to models and then migrations over here. It should be query statement, and actually that's right, use query. Yeah, it doesn't show up there. I don't really know why, but let's copy query statement. Yeah, let's copy it like this, and oh no, we need to go to docs, like so. Okay, so fix error like that, and I'm just gonna deploy that just to make sure that it's all is fine. See, this is the thing with Tempest now. You're not just writing code anymore, you have to update the docs as well, which, depending on the time of day, I'm not the best at. So but I mean, I talked about this before on stream, right? Like, the docs are a crucial part of any project's success. So yeah, they really need to be in order, right? Okay, so the alter table thingy, actually I'm gonna create an issue for it, because we are on track to create alter table statement. We might do it today. I'm gonna hang on a second to see whether Tragits is right now. Yeah, whether Tonko Tragits, anyway, whether he has an opinion about it. So I hope he will join in chat and let me know his progress here. So create alter table statement database, like so. So how is everyone today, by the way? Where are you coming from, the people who are watching right now? Because like last time there were some from people like, I was really surprised by this, all around the world. People from Egypt, Sweden, Hungary. Only the US wasn't present, I think. Like something Asia. I can't remember the country, but so yeah, where are you coming from? Let me know in chat. I can close this one, and then we can move on to some of our issues. Let's see here. What I want to work on is, well, I need to do this. And I'm just going to do that because that's just a... so, we have in Tempest, we don't use abstract classes. And there is a lot to say about it. I actually want to make a video about it as well, why I decided to do that. And last night I was I was laying awake again, and I was thinking about this. It might be a blog post as well, like the difference between an interface and extending from a class. And there is a pretty clear difference to me, but it's difficult to put into words. And the thing I came up with yesterday was like, okay, an interface is more about the technical side, like it describes what an object looks like from the code perspective, while when you extend from a class, it's more about it should only happen when that relation between the child and the parent class is something that's modeled from the real world. Basically, the real world is kind of abstract, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still gathering my thoughts on that. But yeah, Tempest is about like code. It's a framework. So following that definition, I'm more leaning towards interfaces for 99% of the time. But you also want default implementations for many of these methods. And unfortunately, I think I've shown this before as well. So let's see here. RFC. There was this RFC default methods, interface default methods. This would have been the dream, right? Where you could have an interface and it could provide a default implementation for a method. What's different with abstract classes at that point? Well, you can implement multiple interfaces, so that's pretty nice. And I was thinking about this. Like in Tempest, like everything you need to do basically involves implementing an interface and using a trait. And like, so this RFC failed, by the way. Unfortunately, I think this would have been one of the greatest features in PHP, but yeah, unfortunately that didn't happen. They might revisit it at some point. Although I was thinking about it, maybe it would be easier if we could type hint on traits, which is impossible because traits are they aren't present at runtime. Traits are really just copy paste during compile time. But what would maybe be possible is if you had a trait and if it implements an interface. So let's see here. So isModel is a trait right now. We need to rename that, right? Implements model, basically, like this. And whichever class uses a trait also will implement this model. And I wonder whether there's like people would be more open to that, because this pattern of implementing an interface and using a trait to implement some of its methods, like a default implementation, it's really common. It's really common, not just in Tempest, also in Laravel, Symfony, I guess, as well. So maybe this would be cool. And this would like be a middle ground, right? You would be able to just use the trait. You wouldn't have to write implement model anymore. And it would be kind of the other way around than interface default methods. But the big like con argument for interface default methods was that, yeah, but the interface shouldn't contain implementations. So if we turn it the other way around, if we say this is an implementation and it adheres to an interface, well, maybe that will work. So yeah. Anyway, that's kind of a big explanation. All of that to say, we now have an interface model and isModel trait, right? They go together, but actually these are database implementations and not just models in general. Because something in Tempest, I started the model chapter here with that, is model classes, they aren't tied to the database. It's a very common use case, which is why there is an interface and a trait specifically for database models. But you can create models from any data source and persist them to any data source. Work in progress. But yeah, so I need to rename that interface and trait, and I actually already did in the documentation. So let's just do that right now. It's a very small change actually. Is database model. Let's see here. Yep, and then we have our model interface. Let's rename it to database model. And let's actually see, yeah, okay, there aren't any other changes associated with that. That's good. And then we need to go to our isModel test, because this one has to be renamed as well. Is database model test. Like so. And let's check chat here as well. Your statements look like Laravel DB grammars, very focused on SQL, but there is always a context that be different from each DB engine. Database binding, result handling. You should work on operations. Interesting. I'll need to look into that. I have to say that I have to say that like one of the design decisions for Tempest is that we really want to avoid as many database abstractions as possible. I want people to write SQL queries basically. But there are some places, as I explained like 2 days ago, I did a stream as well. There are some places where you need to provide framework level implementations for different databases. So that's what these classes are for basically, but I don't want them to be super complex. I want them to cover like the 90% common use case, and everything else that's more complex should just be covered with queries. Actually, let me show that in the docs here as well. Did I write about it? Model query builder, yeah. So important to note is that the database query method, which allows you to, okay, it's important. Oh, it's 2 times important to note. I need to update this. That Tempest deliberately takes a simplistic approach to its model query builder. If you want to build real complex queries, you should write them directly in SQL and map them to model classes like so. So yeah, that's that. Let's see here. Abstract classes are convenience for shared functionality. Would you use composition trait for shared functionality? Yeah. It's too complicated to dive into the deep details about it on this stream, I think. But the reason I prefer interfaces also has to do with composition over inheritance. And I actually made a video recently about using final, which also ties into there. And there's a good reason I don't want to use an abstract class, because you can only extend from one abstract class. So you're basically saying that if you want something to be a model, you have to extend from this, and it's kind of locked into it being a model. While, like I said a couple of minutes ago, I think of inheritance more as a way to model like real world stuff instead of using it for technical purposes. I still need to think about these thoughts. I need to write them down and do some more thinking about it. But yeah, so let me check the other comments here. If there is default behavior for some interface methods, remove them from oh yeah, you're still talking about abstract classes. I'm gonna let it slide for now. Please speak about how you test database code. We perform queries and we check whether they are correct, whether they return the right result. I realize these are high-level integration tests. No, there are also some. Let's see here. What's a test called? Query statement test, database query statement. See, there are also some tests where we just assert whether the resulting SQL matches a specific thing that we also do. But like in general, we just communicate with the database, and we're gonna set up different CI runners for the 3 different databases. That's still work in progress. I'm not against like low-level unit tests. There is a place for them, but I really believe that like it saves so much time to just write 1 or 2 high-level integration tests and be done with it, basically. So yeah, that are all the comments. Let's see here. Let's composer QA and let's check whether my refactoring hasn't broken anything. Of course, it will have broken like all code relying on Tempest. But well, no one should do that up until this point. But I want to get these things fixed before Alpha 1, right? Although there will be breaking changes after Alpha 1. Let's see. Let's do it like this. Commit, push, and with that, that is one issue done. Let's see here what Traget said as well. So I was talking about interface default methods here. Reason of me asking why we use like a trait is that wasn't clear to me, the difference, so to speak. I've seen that within Laravel there's contract for interfaces and concerns for traits, which make sense to me. And back when I was working on a Java application, I had interface for interface, which is pretty literal. I can't remember if Java has traits or not, so I don't know if there's a convention on that. Okay, so we're talking about naming conventions here. That's a really interesting question. It's something I've been like thinking about a lot as well. It's one of the most difficult things in programming, right? Naming stuff. But I really dislike having to suffix these kinds of classes, interfaces, or traits. I do still suffix stuff like controllers, home controller, book controller, file controller, stuff like that. But for interfaces and traits, you're always using them in a context that is clear what it is. Like, you cannot use an interface in any other way besides implements database model. And you cannot use a trait in any other way besides use is database model. So we did settle on a naming convention because we need both the interface and trait, but I actually want it to be one thing. So, but that's not possible. So we said that, okay, the interface should be the shortest, most clear name possible. And like there are quite a lot of let's see here. Interface, command bus middleware, complete console command, that's a cursor, input buffer, scheduler, initializer, database driver, database what's the database interface actually? Oh yeah, yeah, this is a wraparound PDO. See, database isn't really clear to me from its name. I wrote this okay, couple of months ago. It's already not clear anymore to me. But interface names, they are like the biggest interaction point between the user code and the framework. It should be clear. So they should be as short as possible. They should be as to the point as possible. And then traits, yeah, we kind of said like, okay, we cannot use database model for the trait name. I don't want to suffix it with trait because that's just annoying, database trait, because you already know this is a trait, right? You're using it within a context. So okay, we settled on is or has. There are some traits with has attributes, has conditions, has console, has instance, and is view, is element, is tag injection. Let's see here. So yeah, it's kind of a naming convention we came up with, and I hope all of this can go away once once we get something better for interfaces and trait combination. So yeah, good morning, goedemorgen, Rex, Giza Rex, I don't know. So yeah, and oh yeah, Ali, you were talking about libraries testing actual data in the database like DB unit, which is now abandoned. Yeah, I don't know. We're just, let me actually show you that, like the is database model test. Like every test, we just run a couple of migrations. We do whatever we want to test. We do assertions on it, and that's about it. So yeah. And by the way, migrations are pretty fast because these tests are running with SQLite. So we're just copying database files back and forth to roll back the state, basically. So I don't know, it works pretty well. And it gives like a lot of certainty with just a couple of lines of code that this thing does what it needs to do in a real live scenario, right? And what we'll do for like multi-database testing is we'll just have a new instance of Tempest in CI, and we'll give it like other configuration to use a MySQL database and a Postgres database and go from there. So yeah. Okay, that's one issue, because like at this rate we're gonna be very, very, very slow, but it's all fine. We're learning, right? So this one I need to take care of as well. So this is something I noticed while writing the docs. So we have an event bus and a command bus in Tempest, and these buses, they can take middleware, right? So an event is dispatched, a command is dispatched, and they go through the bus and they are sent to one handler in the case of a command, or multiple handlers in the case of an event. And so there is this place where there's potential for middleware, and this is something that's pretty useful, because let's say you want some commands to write log messages or something like that. You don't want to like have the command or the event handler itself having to take care of that. So instead of that, you can just add middleware to your event bus, and then maybe check for an interface, whether a specific event implements an interface or whether a command does. And then you can do some extra logic here. It's very similar to HTTP middleware, with the difference that it's a bit more, it's easier, right? Like you're not concerned with having to return anything, because it's one way, events and commands. So yeah, like for these kinds of functionality, it's pretty useful. Something for events that could be useful as well is middlewares that will add tags to your event, or like dispatch them to external services could also be a thing. That's not included yet. We're gonna look at the event bus in an upcoming version, but that's not part of 1.0. So yeah, but I really like this pattern. The problem here is that there's an inconsistency I noticed while with configuration here. So when we have the let's see here, HTTP middleware, which is where most people know it from, right? Let's see here, the set cookie middleware, for example, in the route initializer here. Anyway, this is framework code, but the thing is, like, we don't configure the class instances. We only configure middleware class names, because then we can resolve it in the container and have auto wiring in there. The difference now with for example, event bus middleware, if we take a look at the implementations here, there's only one, right? Yeah. Let's see here, over here. So this is this config. You need to instantiate the class itself within the config file, which is kind of annoying, because then you don't have auto wiring available. So I want to refactor this to this, basically. And well, that shouldn't be that big an issue. Let's change the type here from actual instances to class. It's an array of array key and class string that implements event bus middleware, like so. That should be correct, yeah. And then we need to make a change to the event bus itself. So event bus, it's called generic event bus, right? Yeah. The implementation here of the event bus interface. Anyway, let's see here. So dispatching an event, the same will happen in like for HTTP middleware and console middleware actually as well, and command bus middleware. But so we create a callable and then we call that callable. And so when we create a callable, let's see here, we're gonna add the middleware to it. And actually, that's interesting, we already had support for the container here. It was just wrongly typed, which means that, yeah, well, this is good, right? So let's see, our test should just work, and they should be fine. So like we loop over that middleware stack that we defined in our array here, and we wrap it. That's how middleware works. Cannot use class on string in middleware. Actually, let's rename this middleware class, right? So and then we can actually move to our generic command bus as well, because the same will need to happen over there, I reckon. Middleware class. So yeah, these middleware stuff is very similar, but now I need to change the type here as well. Array. array key and what's it, class string, and then it's command bus middleware, like so. Okay, and then I need to check here, isn't there a test for this? Command bus middleware. Let's see. Yeah, there sure is. Oh, we just call add middleware here. Oh yeah, so this will have to change as well, because this now has to be a string middleware class, and let's say middleware class, and this should be a param class string. This is the command bus middleware class, like this. And then I actually have to go to the event bus config as well, because I think it has, yeah, it has the same problem here. Event bus middleware class string. That wasn't actually, there's no test for that. Okay, but now we get an error here, and we can do it like this. Okay, let's see whether it works. Good morning, Samuel. And yeah, it's all fine. Okay, so that's a small refactor here. Clean up middleware config. It actually makes me wonder, like for the console config, because there's middleware here as well. Yeah, these are already classes here. So yeah, this just means that now whatever middleware you configure here, it will be resolved via the container. So that means you'll get auto wiring for your middleware classes, which is cool. And one more issue I can close, right? So let's actually see here. Tonko, can I take a look at the alter table statement thingy? Or are you working? Yeah, I want to do this one actually, and then there were some more query builder features. I actually I did this one yesterday. Yeah, but it will need a lot of improvements, I think. I actually wonder if this works. Let me see here. Is model test? Oh, query builder test. Query builder test. Over here, I have some very simple tests. That's actually rather new test here. When I want to check, I'm gonna explain it. Test where statement. So this is how I do database testing, right? So I migrate some stuff, I seed the database, and I really don't care that this is hard coded, by the way. I don't really mind that. Where title equals this. This is what I want to test. A. Does this work? Let's do B. I think it actually should. Yeah, okay, it does. So there are two ways to bind the data to queries. It's either named data, like so, and then you have to do it like this. And I didn't know that this one also just worked, but it makes sense because we're just using PDO under the hood here. So okay, let's that actually means that I'm gonna close that query builder issue. There is a lot of improvements that can be made here. I realize that, and let's actually check. Yeah, but for now I think it is good enough, and good enough is good enough, right? And like I said, if you cannot fix it with the query builder, you can just create plain queries. And that's as easy as just writing new query and then writing SQL here. And of course, like mapping it to a model, like so. Oh. Like so. Well, not like so, like so. So, you know, the option is there to do whatever you want. And I think like it's good enough for a first alpha version to have what we have. Let me actually show you like model query builder. There are just a couple of methods here, right? So first, find, all, where, order by limit, raw. You can do whatever you want there. Where field, which is more like a Laravel style where you don't have to use the binding syntax. With to load relations, bind, but you can also just bind data on, for example, in where statements here directly. You can also bind data when you, let's see here, when you call first or all, not on find, but that's fine. So yeah, and then to SQL, build is just private and get relations. So private, this is just to build a query. So for now, this is fine. This is good enough, I think. And if it's not, I mean, we can improve it. So, let's check here. Tonko, what did you say? Got a lot of work done on that, lagging behind, I see. Still a work in progress, but this is the current state. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, here it is. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is what I did on main already. So alter actions. Okay, so Tonko is doing a lot of work on this. Then I'm not gonna do it. I mean, this this will, yeah. I don't want to undo his work basically. But he's also working on raw SQL files, which I also wanted to check out. What about raw SQL files? So here's one of the ideas I had, and that is that with migrations, right? Create, let's see, create book table. Let's actually refactor this to the new syntax basically. So book, and then we say primary text title raw. No, we can just use integer here, author ID, and then belongs to book dot author ID belongs to author dot ID. Okay. What we also want to support is, so this is a migration class, right? Which is fine, but we also want to support a way for people to just write raw SQL files. Yeah, because that seems pretty useful. And actually Tonko said that he's focusing on the alter table thing. So Tonko, if you don't mind, I want to do some experimentation with that. Because this seems like a fun issue to tackle. So let's do that, right? I hope he doesn't mind. And this is an interesting one because, did I break something? Not null. It should be nullable. Nullable true. Let's make sure this works. Okay. And update test migration. So I already pushed it here. Okay, so let's see here. Let's say we have a let's check here. Where are my fixtures over here? So let's create a new file. Let's call it create. No, let's call it something like 2024 like this, create publishers table.sql, right? And this will just be raw SQL. Like I said, it's a thing in Tempest. The more complex stuff, you're free to use raw SQL. So I don't know if I know this from the top of my head, but create a table and publisher, something like this. No, that's not how it works. It's this, and then say integer. I suck at SQL, by the way. It's this ID integer, unsigned integer, actually unsigned integer, not null, auto increment. Let's actually check my primary key statement here. Integer, oh, primary key auto increment. In this is what I need. This is what I need, like so. And then we'll say just name, text, or let's keep it a text, not null, like so. Okay. So this is a migration that should be discovered by Tempest. And so how migration discovery works, if you don't know how discovery works, I should explain that first. Discovery is one of the coolest features in Tempest. So basically when the project boots up, it will look at all your project files, all your Tempest package vendor files, and it will check whether it should do something with them. And you might think that's super imperformant. It actually isn't. And on top of that, we cache it for production so you don't notice any performance overhead. But the cool thing is this gets rid of so much configuration. So you just create a class and Tempest knows it's there. There's no naming conventions, things they don't have to live in a specific folder for it to work. You just do whatever you want. The only exception here right now is config files. They must go in the config directory, but we're gonna change that. But that's still work in progress. So for this specifically, right? So migrations are right now only just PHP classes, but we want to add the ability to also discover like these raw SQL files. Okay. And how that work? How that works rather is that by default discovery classes, they will only work with PHP classes. So all our discovery classes here, let me actually show you Tempest discovery status. So these are the loaded discovery classes, and each of them does something, right? So the discovery will discover all these discovery classes. The command bus discovery will check whether any methods should be registered as command handlers. The migration discovery here will check whether there are any migration classes that should be taken into account. The route discovery will check whether there are any controller methods with a route attribute, and it will register them as routes into the router, and so on. So migration discovery specifically, right now it only supports PHP classes, right? That's the default, because that's like the 95% use cases. You only want to discover PHP classes, but in this case we also want to discover SQL classes. So there's an extra interface here, discovers path, and let's move that up a little bit. So this method will be called whenever we encounter a file that isn't a PHP class, right? And then we can do stuff with it. So let's just show here. So for example, the very first file we discover here is a CSS file. Yeah, we're not going to do anything with that. So we want to make sure that we only get SQL files. So if not string ends with path and then dot SQL, we'll just return. We'll not do anything. And if we have it here, yeah, we're not getting it because this folder isn't discovered while we're not running tests. So I actually have to go to my migration manager test over here. And let's run this one, and I think we should end up in no. Let's see here why we're not. So yeah, these are all the files that Tempest is trying to discover. And again, you might think that this is slow, but it's like, you don't notice it. We tested this with like thousands and thousands of files, and it just, you don't notice any difference. So, and again, in like production, it's cached, so it's no problem at all. For now, I mean, famous last words, right? Maybe 10 years from now, someone will, or 10 months, someone will tell me, you were so wrong about this. Yeah, so what's happening here is that this isn't a discoverable folder, I think, but I thought it would be. So let's do some debugging here. Yeah. No, let's do it like this. This container or this database config. I'm totally in the wrong file over here. Uh-oh. What did I do? Yeah. This container get, and then we'll say a discovery app config, actually. That's where discovery paths are stored. Let's see here, discovery classes, that's all fine. Locations here. Yeah, highlight source, Tempest framework, and then all the Tempest modules. Yeah. Discovery, Tempest, source. Oh, here, fixtures, console fixtures, integration. Yeah, see, that's integrate. But there. Hang on. Oh no! It's this folder. Okay, then there's something. Okay, let's do it like this. Refactor. Bam. Uh-oh. Okay, good. And Tonko is saying it might be the number thing. Let's. Yeah, but I mean, let's see. Now we're loading this folder exactly. Yeah. Hang on a second. Let's see. Create. No. Oh. I see what you mean. My this is just a bug in discovery bootstrap. The number thing. So, although I think, yeah, this is a bit slow. Uh-oh. It's very slow. Stop. Okay. Uh-oh. It's fine, I guess. let's stop the test here. Yeah, I'm printing out way too much. Uh-oh. I might actually have to reboot PHP Storm. No, okay, it's fine. Yeah, let's not do that. So what's happening here is that, oh, PHP Storm is still, let's, I don't know why it's crashing now. I'm gonna have to force quit it. Oh. And I hope that works. Yeah, okay. Let's try that again. So Tonko is saying that, let's see here. Is everything okay, PHP Storm? Yeah, can we move on? Let's go back to our discovery bootstrap here. So what's happening here is that we loop over all discovery locations, and we'll get all the files from there, and then we'll loop over every file and check whether, right, we get something, we can discover that file, basically. I wonder, I think I can do this. File name. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Let's see whether it comes here, right? So .sql, what was it called? Create publisher tables. Okay, so it ends up here, so that's fine. Okay, let's do some debugging, right? So if file name equals this, let's dump it out. File name. Okay. So are we still good here? Yeah, we are. We are here as well. So let's see what happens after this if statement here. Nothing happens. We continue. Because this is a bug actually. So what we try to do is to create a class from that file, which in this case won't work. And then if it's not a class, but nothing should happen here, I think. Hang on. Yeah, we shouldn't continue because then it's nothing should happen. Let's check this out. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then over here, now we come in here. Yeah. Okay, now we can discover it. Probably discovery, migration, discovery. Let's see, discover path. Do we end up here? Yeah. Okay, so this is fine. So we're here now. Now it works. Weird. So the reason I'm confused is because this should, like, this discover path method also worked with I'm sort of trying to get my thought. It also worked with it already worked with view components, so I'm not sure why it didn't work. Anyway, let's make sure that we didn't break anything first. Okay, good. So sorry for that rabbit hole, but now we can like do something with this code here, with this file that we have, and we can actually so we have a where is it? Oh, go away. Let's see here. So we have an SQL statement, and we want to create a migration class for it. And what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to create a class, generic migration, right? It's going to implement migration. And so it needs a couple of methods, get name, up and down. So down we won't implement in this case. Return null. For the up method, we're gonna need to return a new raw statement, and that's gonna be the contents of this file. And for the name, it's gonna be the file name. So return this file name. So basically we need this content. We need a file name and the content basically, which isn't all that difficult. We're gonna say private string file name and private string content, like so. And in this case, then we can create such a generic migration, right? Let's say migration is new generic migration. As the path, we're gonna do file name equals path info. I think base name is actually what I want here. And okay, so let's say file name equals file name, and then the content equals file get contents path, like so. And then we need to add the migration to our config, which is just this line of code: this database migration, add migration, migration. And over here we need to make a change, because right now we don't support class names, but we actually want to support migration instances as well. So let's say class, no, let's say here this is going to be migration, then my class name equals is string migration, like so, but I don't really like get class. I like this syntax more, like that. Okay. And so we have that, and then there's one more place where we need to get migrations here. That's in the migration manager. Yeah. We're gonna loop over them, and it's not always gonna be a class name here. So if is string migration class name, and we're gonna rename this to migration. Ooh. Migration. Oh. No, yeah, but that's fine. Migration. If it's the string, then we'll say we'll do it like this. So migration, like so, and we don't need this anymore, I think. What's the error here? That's annoying. Okay. Migration. Let's say migration name, migration or class, something like this. If string, let's do it like this, and else migration equals migration. Okay. And then let's say it like this. Oh, actually, if we do it like that, we can. We can do it like this, I think. Let's see here. So that's all done. Let's check our migration manager test. So what's this gonna do is gonna resolve the migration manager from the container. It's gonna call up, and actually we need to change. I expect this test to fail because there's gonna be one extra migration now. Okay. Yeah, and that's correct. Like so. We call it again, just to make sure that there's no duplicate migrations here. And let's actually see what's in our migrations array here. So yeah, there it is. Cool. One thing I noticed is that it's not in the right order, which I still need to fix. And I'll add an insertion there as well. This assert same. Let's use this name. So the last migration should be migration migrations number 3 get name, right? What's my name? migration get name. Yeah, what's wrong here? Yeah. Oh, this is the migration model. Yeah. This is actually something I dislike, but no. Why don't I have like auto completion here? Because there's a thingy missing. Let's see, add return, and this is gonna be an array of a static. It's just gonna be a static array, right? Add return static. Does it work now? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so they aren't properly sorted. Which I guess makes sense because we're doing a case sort here and we're not but this is actually but class name would break the array on multiple. Yeah, okay. Someone mentioned this in the comment as well. I still have a bug, basically. It doesn't matter. Database config. Yeah, this okay. If it's a key, if it's a string, we'll say this is what we need. But that actually, like this sorting is not right. This is never gonna work properly, I think. You always want in the name of the migration. So let's actually just let's fix that here. This case sort won't work. Yeah. Can we access? So I don't want to instantiate new migration objects at this point because that's just that's annoying. Is it? Yeah. Hey Mike, what's up with my camera placement? What should be changed? I'm trying to think about how to solve this now. Actually, let's do it like this. So migrations is array map. Oh, array map, how I dislike you. This will be a string or a migration. Is string migration, then we'll resolve it from the container, and else we'll just return the migration. Is string like this, right? Okay, so now we have an instance of an array of all migration instances, so like this, and now we can sort them. Let's say you sort on the migrations, and the callback is, well, is there A, B, migration A, migration B? There's probably an easier way, right? So A get name. This is the wrong. See, this is what I dislike. There is a naming conflict here between migration and migration interface. Hang on a second. Yeah, I need the migration interface. This is like the only place in Tempest where I have a migration model and then a migration interface, and I don't know how to how to solve it. Anyway, let's see. No, this is migration interface like this. Get name, and then compare it to this. This should work, right? And use sort, it takes the reference. Yeah, that's fine. So we let's see. Hang on a second. So so these are the existing migrations. This should be migration. I really need to fix this because this sucks. A generic migration could not be resolved. Yeah. Okay. If it's a string, we'll get it from the container, and otherwise we'll. I'm totally confused. This database config get migrations. So in this case we have. Okay, so hang on a second. I'm gonna remove this key here because it's totally useless now because we don't need it anymore. So that's one thing. So we have a string. Why is generic migration here? Oh, because it's it's discovering generic migration as well, of course, and that's a very classic mistake. Discovery boot, not discovery boot, migration discovery. If class equals is generic migration, return, right? Okay. And okay, so now migrations, we sort them, we loop over them, we can get rid of this because it's always let's see, migration interface, right? Yeah. It will always be an instance if the name is in existing migrations. Will continue, and otherwise will execute up. Let's try it. Okay, now it works. Whew. Let's see. When discovering the SQL files, you make do you make sure that the file really contains a migration and not another SQL statement? Not yet. But Gurame is saying it's on you. You can also update anything in the database from Laravel migration files. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't think I want to handhold here too much. So because what should I validate? Should I validate that it's valid SQL? No, because the migration will just fail. Should I validate that it doesn't select anything? Well, if it does, then nothing will happen. Maybe I should validate that it only creates a table, but no, we also want to alter the table. Sometimes you even want to delete a table. So, yeah. Should I validate that it only contains one query? Well, why should I? I mean, it would work with two queries as well, because it's just a raw query that's getting executed. It should work with as many query statements as you'd like. Actually, I need to test that, but okay. So back to our test, my migration manager test. Okay, so this is cool. Let's actually check whether this works. Create table foo. Yeah, it doesn't fail, so that's fine. And if we see a refresh here, we this isn't my no, actually it is. Okay, so it doesn't work. That's interesting. Do we want to support that or not? I actually think we do. I think we do. How are we going to fix that? I actually don't really know why it doesn't work. And it's probably something with PDO, because like, let's check here, execute up. Let's write the query to get SQL. Yeah, see, this is the SQL, and it just should work, right? What happens if we place this one first? Then the publisher table won't exist, is my guess. Oh, yeah. Now foo exists and publisher doesn't exist. So like, this query is just passed to PDO basically. So that, my guess is that it doesn't execute multiple statements, like multiple queries. So I mean, it's easy to solve, right? I can just split it on, like, in my discovery. I don't know if this is the cleanest way. Contents, right? And then we'll say we'll explode on this, right? And then we'll loop over for each contents as well, E is good. Content. And then the file name, let's say we append well, actually, no, this is fine. Yeah. Let's do it like this. File name. Oh, yeah, this was good, but okay. So like this, and now I actually expect to be there. Yeah, this fails because no. Why did it fail? General foo already exists. That's weird. Why? Let's see. Query. No. Let's like this. Let's see what happens here. Oh, hang on. Oh, I know what I did wrong. This content. Thank you. And then argument one cannot be empty. Oh, let's dump my query here. Query. Oh, this is actually another error. There's not a value PDO error. Okay, hang on. Catch. Let's dump the query. It's empty. Sure. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. What's in here then? Oh yeah, there will be an empty line, of course. There will be an empty line. If not content, continue. And now the test fails because there should be 5 exactly. Regression manager. Where's my test over here? And then this will fail as well. Let's go here. Let's do path info file name. Yeah, and then the difference. Okay, let's go back here. So assert count 5, right? and then this should be 0, and this should be 1. Hang on a second. Over here. Cool. So, Gurami, I'm still waiting for that general question. I don't know. Okay, but this is cool, right? So you can now write your migrations with just plain SQL files. Do whatever you want with it, basically. Like insert data if you want to. I don't care. It's pretty nice, no? Still, I will probably use the PHP API because I'm not that fluent with SQL. Actually, I really should learn it because it's so much more convenient to do it just in plain SQL. But yeah, should return, but returns. This is really annoying. PHP stan. Hang on a second. Method. Yeah. So this is model. Is database model, which is what we changed. So all. I cannot do this. Why not? It should return array static. Yeah. But returns array. I really don't understand. Like now I remember I had the dog block there and then PHP stan complained, and I don't understand why it does, because like as far as I can tell this is correct, but it's always solvable. It's probably wrong, right? But I should add it over here. Yeah, if someone knows how to fix that, just send a pull request. Uh-oh. We'll be fine. Okay, there are some small mistakes, some issues. Let's see. Yeah. Hang on a second. Oh, so in isolation it works. You're not. Oh. Yeah, okay, yeah, so these aren't great tests actually, honestly. You know, assert not empty. I'll do it like that. That's better. Okay, yeah, so but there is still a problem here, and that has to do with serialization here, because we have a PHP incomplete class. Let's see. Let's do some debugging. So if we do migrate fresh, for example, that works. Migrate up works as well. Let's see what happens if we run this test. Okay, failed to assert that console output included. Yeah, assert contains. This is annoying because I should actually properly fix this. Hang on a second. Oh, I migrated 5 migrations. Because this test isn't about assert not empty. It's not about the exact amount of migrations. It's just about whether it worked or not, right? Okay. So I had someone from Germany in chat. Where is everyone else coming from today? Let me know. Yesterday there were a lot of people from all over the world. Not empty. I actually need to change all of these. Well, we're making improvements, right? We're making improvements. Migrate command dropped. Cert not empty. See, but now we're getting a type error if we run multiple like tests, which is something I need to look into. But first, let's fix the stupid errors. Austria, Moldova, Germany. Do you stream regularly? No, do I stream regularly? What do you think? A little bit. 2 people from Germany. Yeah, okay, so this is a type error. Expected 3 and okay, so hang on. Assert not empty, like that. Let's see what happens. So and like the Netherlands, hey Tonko, you're back. But are you like working, or what are you doing while you're like watching someone code on YouTube? Okay, so type error here. Tempest migration manager. Closure argument migration must be of type migration string, but an incomplete class was given. And this has to do with the config being serialized, being cached, basically. Like, yeah, migration discovery. Let's go through it, right? So over here we create, like, whenever we cache a our discovery config, we basically serialize something into the database. That's it. So serialize something into a file. Yeah, into a file. And then we, of course, generic migration. And when unserializing it, we only allow a specific amount of classes. And I forgot to add my generic migration here. And now it should work. Tonko, what do you think? You added this. Will it work? But the rest is working. So yeah, we made progress. So let's check here. Myself is developing with Laravel because, no, I don't know. Why? Because of that, your streams are quite refreshing. Thank you. It's my first week of holiday and I'm working on my own open source project. That's really nice, Kevin. What are you working on? Meanwhile, failed asserting. There's a type error here. Container get argument must be of type string, and instead a generic migration was given in the migration manager, line 88. Yes, we're also, of course, for down, we need to, so let's fix this here. Let's say migrations, existing migrations. Actually, can we refactor all of this to a separate method and say get sorted migrations, like so, and then no, we cannot refactor all of that. Hang on, execute up, execute down, get sorted migrations. This should be private. It will return a migration interface array. And these should be private as well, private. So, but we need an array. We need to pass an array. Existing migrations. We need to do it like this. And then let's go to up. Migrations is like so. Okay. And then we have our existing migrations here. Let's remove all of this and say migrations equals this get sorted migrations from existing migrations. And then we say migration as migration because it's all like this. Okay, good. And then like this. And hang on a second. Existing migrations. Oh, we don't even need to pass them in. I think get sorted migrations. Yeah, we don't need these. We just need existing migrations here. I might need to like improve this code a little bit. Honestly. Okay, let's see whether it works. Let's see here. Your stream is running while I'm working on very old PHP 5.2 customer project, which I'm updating to PHP 8.03. You are a brave person, and I applaud you for that. Removing pair packages and so on. Hey Tonko, what did you do? Nothing. You're doing great work. I don't know. I said Tonko at some point, but no, it's all fine. And Kevin is making a sort of custom template engine to create custom HTML elements. You can Google it via LordGML custom HTML. Let me actually check that. Oh, LordGML custom HTML elements. Just like ESX, but for PHP. I'm also creating a kind of custom templating engine. Hey, we have. I actually think we have very similar ideas here. It's pretty cool, and it's very similar to what I wanted to do as well. Yeah. So like. Cool. Well, good luck. Like it's nice, right? Being able to just do some programming. I was so my brother was here yesterday, and he asked me, like, we were talking about house renovations, and he said, yeah, I really like doing that. I'm like, no, I hate it. And he explained, no, but it makes you feel so productive. You know, you're painting the walls or like creating a new wall or something like that. That's what he was doing, and he said like it's so rewarding when you finally finish the work. And I'm like, you know what I did this morning? I just sat down outside with my laptop and I wrote some code, and it's the same feeling. And he was looking at me like I was the weirdest person on earth, but. Meanwhile, I broke everything. Call to private method. Apparently, execute up is called somewhere. Okay. I don't know why, but let's keep it. Let's keep it as is for now. Let's see if whether these tests actually pass. They don't. Oh. We're almost there. I can feel it. What's wrong? Failed to assert that console output included the text. These lines were printed. Rollback 0 migrations. Yeah. So down. Okay, we have our existing migrations. Then we get our sorted migrations. We loop over them. And if they are not in the array, we continue. Okay, so let's see here. So we have migrations and existing migrations. Oh, no. I need. Yeah, I want to execute this test. Migration manager. Let's see here. Okay, so existing migrations, I think I just removed something. Yeah, this. I removed this and I shouldn't have done that. It works. Okay, let's run Composer QA. And let's hope everything is green. What makes a test an integration test? It does like a whole bunch of setup work for the with the framework. So you basically have the whole framework available. It's like if you're used to Laravel, but I don't think you, well, I don't know. Like Orchestra test bench, basically like setting up a whole Laravel instance for your test. So if you look at framework integration test, like the framework integration test is specifically the one used in this package, like the Tempest library, but there's also the integration test that other packages can use. And you have like these, you have app config available, the kernel, the container, the console tester, and the route tester, which is how you, let me actually show you a console test here. Console test, something like this. So you can do, no, okay, let's do this console. Yeah, you can write these kinds of tests. So you say console complete this, and then I assert that you see this. I actually need, yeah, okay. So console, you call a command and you assert that these things were outputted from the command. So those kinds of things. So if you extend integration test, you basically have a bunch of like helpers available and the framework set up for you with, I think, yeah, like the base one doesn't really do anything database related, no, but in my framework integration test case, which I extend from this one, you see I also set up the database stuff. I do some manual discovery things. Actually, oh yeah, I removed only the cache path for discovery. All the rest stays cached in, like all discovery is cached for the whole test run except for one discovery file. So stuff like that. That's the integration test. So a lot of things happening. It works. Cool. So add raw SQL migrations. Like so. Let's see here. By the way, like a question in between, but I mentioned that I'm using OBS now for streaming. Is like the quality better compared to like 2 days ago with StreamYard? I don't know. I'll watch the recording afterwards, but well, part of the recording. So that's done, but now the feature isn't done yet. Actually, I shouldn't have closed the issue, right? So migrations. I need to update the docs as well. So Tempest docs. Let's see here, models, and then migrations. Migrations are used to manage database tables that hold persistent model data. Migrations are discovered, so you can create them wherever you like, as long as they implement the migration interface. Please take note of the following naming conventions. Sure. You can run migrations via the Tempest console. I need to write it like this. As an alternative, you can write plain SQL files, which will be discovered as migrations as well. As I'm writing this, I'm realizing we probably need some kind of filtering, that we're not discovering all SQL files. And yeah, anyway, that's something that needs to be done, I think. At least you want some control over it. Let's see here. Let's what was it? Create publishers table. As an alternative, you can write plain SQL files, which we discovered as migrations as well. The file name will be used as the migrations name. Note that you can have multiple queries in one SQL file. Each of them will be run as a separate migration. SQL, and then let's say what was this? 2024 0816 create publisher table.sql somewhere. Migrations. Actually, this is comment, right? Migrations. Let's say app migrations, something like this. Whatever you want to. Tonko, you're asking if is there a reason for you using YouTube over Twitch? Well, yeah, because there's a YouTube channel here, right? So it doesn't really make sense to me to go over on Twitch because there's no audience there. However, if I can, I might need to look into just streaming both to Twitch and YouTube. And I know that was possible with StreamYard, but I don't know if that's possible with OBS. It is. I'm sure it is. I just need to figure it out. Okay. This is good, I think. You can add several queries into one SQL file if you want to. Okay. Let's oh no, oh yeah, doesn't matter. And Tempest deploy. Yeah, so it is probably possible, Tonko, to stream to all platforms. Just need to figure it out. So that's done, right? Migrations. Cool. And this is a nice feature. Oh, I already closed it, right? Yeah. I'm gonna make a new issue. I'm actually gonna make two new issues. Ability to skip specific SQL files from discovery. Actually, ability to skip any file from discovery, I think will be better, actually. And I think this will be some kind of config thingy. But yeah, discovery is super useful, but what you don't want to happen is like people running into problems they cannot solve anymore because of it. So if you really want to exclude a file from discovery, you should be able to do that. And I think it will be something like, you know, return new. Well, no, it will just be in app config, and it will be exclude from discovery, something like this. Just an array where you can list class names, class name, or you can list file name, something like this. I think that should be enough. It's gonna make discovery a bit more heavy, of course, because now we have to check every file name we want to. But yeah, need to figure it out. So cool. Made some progress, right? Not a lot more things to do. I really I'm dreading this issue. If someone wants to take it, be my guest. Like it's not super difficult. I mean, I just hate being in the browser, which is kind of ironic given that I'm writing like a framework for making websites, but it's probably not all that difficult. You just need to set something into the cookie and then read it out when you submit a form. But anyway, I'm gonna unassign myself and we'll see what happens. Right? And then let's see here. We file supports in requests. I actually think there's also already some things done for that. We'll have to see. Kernel refactor. Aiden is working on that. And then I need to update the docs. And Tonko is working on alter table statement. Oh. Tragets wanna work on this. And now I can tag him, I think. No? I don't understand GitHub anyway. So yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there, right? Pretty cool. And then once the first alpha is released, people can play around with it. It won't be like bug free, but will be pretty cool. So yeah, okay, good. That is, I think, all I wanted to do today. I don't know, how long have I been streaming? I don't know, I can't see it in OBS here, I think. So, folks, thanks for being here. There's the camera. So, like, someone told me the camera was placed wrong, but then never followed up on where I should place it then. I'll go sit in the center, hang on. No, but thanks for being here. If you're watching the video afterwards, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, thanks for thinking along. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, right? And then I'll see you the next time. And I hope that I'll be able to stop the stream via OBS properly. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.